Welcome all to Bellafield in Medford, Massachusetts, where I don't want to jinx anything, but it looks like spring has finally arrived. It's 66 degrees here as the sun sinks behind the hill, as well as on the NESCAC regular season. The Tufts women's lacrosse program is about to play host to the Bowdoin Polar Bears to close out conference play. Normally this is a time to be worried about playoff seedings, but today Tufts don't have much to worry about on their own account. The Jumbos are locked into the 2 seed already, with results here and elsewhere set to determine their first round opponent. Bowdoin, meanwhile, still have everything to play for today, as if they want any chance at conference glory, their road effectively starts today, and they'll have to go through the number 2 lacrosse team in D3 on their own patch. My name is Micah Baum, alongside me is Catherine Burns, and you are watching Tufts JumboCast. Catherine, you were out here last week, to see the game against Amherst. I mean, first of all, how nice it is to be in good lacrosse weather.
Yeah, it's nice out today. Everyone's in good spirits. It's not raining. It's not cold. You don't get a lot of these on Bello. I think it just is making the Bows more excited to play. They know this weather. They like this weather. And both teams look amped up and excited for a really good game today.
Yeah, you don't have the full panoramic view of the sky, but there is not a single cloud in sight, apart from maybe one or two contrails from the plains from Logan. And coming in today, I mean, as you say, the Jumbos just look excited. They don't have much really to prove on their own account other than keeping their MPI as high as they can. But against the Bowdoin Polar Bears, who have everything to play for today, it's going to be an interesting matchup to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big game for Bowdoin, and we've seen teams come back and fight against these Jumbos. They have to make sure that they're on their A game. Any day can be any person's game. So both teams looking like they're bringing the energy today, and we'll have a good match.
Where do you think this game can be won or lost, especially for the Polar Bears, is where they need to get at the Jumbos today?
I think the main thing to focus on is the draw, as we'll see here in a minute. The Bowdoin Polar Bears have struggled with that in the past, and Tufts has not. And we will see how this draw affects this, sets the tone of this game.
Certainly will. Jenna Gibbons in the center circle, along with Grace Harvey for Bowdoin. Shadows already almost entirely covering the field as this one gets underway. Madeline Delaney with the first control of the game, and Jumbos will possess early. Delaney running in field. The Jumbos look to settle. Finds Carden. Carden still going. Hounded outwards by Applebaum. Carden still with it, and in the end finds Shutt. Shutt driving through 2 defenders, looking for an open shooting lane, and she gets one, and she gets the opening goal after just 33 seconds.
Yep, and Micah, like we were saying before the game started, it starts at the draw. I wasn't expecting to see Grace Harvey out there on the circle, as Molly Reed has had more experience on the draw. But Jenna Gibbons is just unlike no other. We saw her this week as the defensive um, uh, D3 player of the week, and it's not just on defense; it's also on the draw. She lets her presence be known since the draw.
She has already gotten the NESCAC Player of the Week last week as well after a huge contribution against Amherst. Really swung the tide of that game. As you say, huge contributor on defense, but also leads the NESCAC, the strongest conference in women's lacrosse in D3, in draw controls. This one is looking to go the way of the Polar Bears, though, and it does. Harvey showing why she got the nod from Coach Grote. Bowdoin settling down. Now finds its way back to the X. Bowdoin rotating it around. Tufts not playing super aggressive defense so far. Happy to let Bowdoin possess. With the ball here is Reed. Finds Harvey. Guarded by Delaney. Harvey to the X to Muse. Now finds Lauren Burke. Harvey now trying to find an angle. Driving in and forced backwards. There will be a whistle called there. There's a look of shock on the face of Jenna Gibbons. I think they called shooting space.
I believe that is correct. So I believe that's Grace Harvey on the center hash, looking for Bowdoin's first goal.
Grace Harvey looks about as confused as Jenna Gibbons did. Eventually she picks up the ball. Squaring up to Buren. Takes it early, and DeBuren catches it early. Still bounding around inside the area. Players going to ground, and eventually Delaney comes away with it. Looking to clear fast. Here's Fernanda Poulet. Still sprinting forward from the defense is Fernanda Poulet. Looking inside, and that's a quick chip in there.
Wow. That is a nice goal. It all started in the transition. Bringing the ball down from the attack after that save from DeBuren. And that's just one of the strengths that the Tufts Jumbos has, is being able to pass and know where their team is and do the simple things right. They can catch the ball, they can quick pass, quick shoot. And if they don't need to have the ball on their stick, they'll either pass it or shoot it.
Yeah, Tufts is the best clearing team in D3 women's lacrosse, 92.2% on that, and you can see how effective of a weapon that can be as they just scythe through the Bowdoin defense on the transition.
Yeah, absolutely. Even when it wasn't like out of the goalie's stick, it was a deflection off the goal, and they were still able to clear it up the field.
That goal was scored by El Esperance. And we go back to the draw circle. Once again, Gibbons. It's not Harvey this time. This time it was Leonard. And it was Reed who got the draw control, as you mentioned. Prolific on that regard for the Polar Bears. Now to Ameda. Trying to find her way inside. Ball is knocked free, and Ameda comes away with it again. Or in fact, she does not. That's Donlin who managed to pick up that loose ball. Ride is hard, trying to force a mistake, but that is wisely done from Donlin, and DeBuren will distribute. Now here to Shutt. Shutt is met by Motz. Now back into the middle to Joyce. Carden. Again, Bowdoin doing their best to defend the prolific attacking unit that Tufts has to offer. Double teaming Margie Carden, it looks like, is that paid off in the end. A loose ball, and is trying to be won there by Molly Reed. But still, the Jumbos suffocating in their attacking pressure. Here's Delaney. Tipping that one inside, looking for Zorn, but it was well read by the Bowdoin defense, and away they come.
Bowdoin's looking really calm, cool, and collected right now on the field, which we haven't seen a lot of teams do when they get down against the Jumbos. So props to Bowdoin.
Bowdoin trying to settle. Muse feints inside, finds Leonard. Now looking inside again. That one comes off the pipe. Bowdoin doing well to get the rebound. Still forcing the pressure. And another shooting space is going to be called. This is another good opportunity for them to keep in this game.
Yeah, DeBuren has had a lot of good saves today, but you can't save all of them, can you?
No. We've already seen some of the other games against the NESCAC's top opposition go very lopsided. Bowdoin want to keep this game as close as long as possible. It's a big chance for Lauren Burke. Burke has it. Burke shoots it. Burke scores it.
And that's what we're talking about, cool, calm, and collected. Even though their shots weren't going in, Tufts was looking really good, finishing all the small things, but Bowdoin came back and kept playing their game that they know, and were able to finish 2-1 right now, about 5 minutes in.
Yeah, Lauren Burke has had a huge part to play in the Bowdoin offense, leads the team in goals and points, now with 39 goals on the season. That's not far off the numbers you're seeing from some of the Tufts attackers as well.
No, not at all.
Already has more goals this year than in her last 2 years combined. And if Bowdoin want to get something out of this game and indeed get into the NESCAC tournament, they're going to need her to be performing on top quality. Once again in the draw circle, it looks like they've stuck with Leonard in there to go up against the stature of Gibbons. That one knocked forward as Gibbons tries to control it, miscontrols it, and Leonard comes away. Does well to find Fabro up ahead. Fabro into Burke. Burke guarded by Donlin. A combination of Burke and Leshley looked to keep her out, but another shooting space is going to be called, and this is another big opportunity to draw level. That's the third shooting space already within less than, well, barely more than 4 minutes.
Yeah, and that's really been their big opportunities so far.
Burke stands ready. Can she go for two? 2 for 2? Yes, she can. 2 for 2 for her. 2-2 on the scoreboard.
Yep, you got to be careful with that shooting space. I think Tufts' defense is looking like they're playing in a zone right now. They were looking really strong, but it seems that there might be a weakness with that zone, and that is finding the shooting space. It's hard when you all have to crash at the same time.
I think the stat is that Bowdoin haven't had any shots from normal play. All of their shots have been from shooting space.
Yeah, there was one earlier that kind of deflected. Wasn't sure if it was a shot or not.
You're right. They did hit the post earlier, but
yeah, but otherwise they've capitalized on the opportunities that Tufts has allowed, which is not something a lot of people can do.
So with that, Burke moves to 40 goals on the season. Bowdoin are keeping in this one. This draw could go their way as well. Still fighting around for it. Jenny Gibbons tries to kick it forward, but only kicks it into the stick of Lauren Burke. The Bowdoin bench are feeling this one. Here's Ameda. Finds Burke. Reed now to Leonard. Bowdoin slowing things down again, trying to find that opportunity. Force the mistake from the Jumbo's defense. Back to Maida at the X. Ball is knocked loose, but well recovered there by, that's Fabro. And that's a nice fake there as that one goes top corner. And you can see the Jumbo's players collapsing. What a feint there by Lauren Burke.
That faked me out. Honestly, I expected them to go the other way. There was a wide open lane, probably 4 feet on either side, and she just drove to goal. And again, you can see it in these Bowdoin players. They are just calm. They're not worried about who they're playing or what they're doing or the fact that there is so much riding on this game. They're just playing their game. They're controlling the ball, and Tufts is letting them. I haven't seen Tufts play as aggressive as they've played with other teams. For example, Amherst, they were pushing out to the 12. They were body on ball. But they're kind of letting them swing it around and letting them have this chance.
Yeah, the audacity to try that fake handoff there that, as you say, fooled you, fooled me, and fooled Pascal de Buren as she did not see that coming. Lauren Burke with a hat trick in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I believe is Elsa shut on the draw, switching it up from Jenna Gibbons.
You're right, and that's not something you expect to see after she wins the kinds of accolades that she has in the last week.
No, not at all, but...
Yeah, paying dividends there. Elsa Shut got the ball and was hounded by 3 polar bears.
I believe they're calling it a charge, though, so it will be a Bowdoin ball near the restraining.
Another boon for the polar bears. You're in here to Motts. And once again, Bowdoin clear successfully. Bowdoin also one of the top 20 teams in the nation for clearing. It's one of their strong suits. Maida. Out to Burke. Now here's Leonard. Jenna Gibbons still doing her work on defense, but another goal there. This time from Ellie Fabro. And Bowdoin have 4 straight, shocking the Jumbos here on Bella.
Wow. De Buren was looking really good at the beginning of the game, but the Bowdoin Polar Bears just keep cutting in, and they're finding themselves in the middle of the goal. You can't leave your goalie open like that. I think there might need to be an adjustment made on Tufts defense to address that.
Yeah, they have just been picking apart this zone. It's even Jenna Gibbons, you could see her having gotten a break from the draw back there on defense, but was left in the dust.
Yeah.
And right now it's looking like Bowdoin are the number 2 team in the country.
Yes, they are. Tufts needs to wake up. I have not seen them play this way in a long time. But this is something they can come back from. We've seen it before. They can put 3 goals in 30 seconds.
They certainly can. They need to win the draw if they want to do that. And once again, Bowdoin will be the victors.
And Micah, we were looking at Bowdoin's previous game. They lost, I believe, 22 draw controls and only won 10 in their last game. And that is not the story today.
Certainly not. That game, I believe, against Wesleyan, left them in 10th in the NESCAC table to start the day. Here's Molly Reed trying to find some space. Reed loses the ball, and that's a good intervention by Joyce, but they're going to call her for it. It was illegal.
Interesting.
Is that an illegal check?
I don't know if that was a check, but I've seen them play similar ways in the past where it hasn't been called. I think it just depends on the day and depends on who's watching.
You could see the frustration from Joyce. She thought that was clean. Bowdoin have no complaints, though. Here's Ameda. Fabro. Guarded by Delaney. Now finds Reed. Reed does well to get past Joyce. Didn't take the shot when she had it. Gets another one. And that one scoots wide. As someone goes down I don't know if it was not raining earlier, but that's 2 players now who have gone down for the Jumbos slipping on the turf.
Yeah. Bowdoin is throwing in some good fakes and having a good ride as we see here.
Doing their best to keep the Jumbos in their own end, but that's well done from Nicholas Summers. Fernando Poulet breaks the ride. Now Delaney has space to run into. Instead, she runs into 2 polar bears. Shut finds Carden. Conahan. Out to Zorn. Bowdoin still playing aggressive defense as Carden's trying to drive in, but again, forced wide. Delaney finds Joyce. They're going to call a shooting space for the Jumbos this time. And this is really the story of the game so far. It's been the penalties.
Yeah, it's really swayed the game, and if the Tufts Jumbos are able to capitalize on this one, they'll bring themselves up, and we might see a little bit of a mood switch, if you will.
Will be Emma Joyce from the right hash. The whistle goes before she could take the shot. Looks like they're going to redo it.
I believe a Bowdoin player jumped early.
It's good for Joyce, as whether the whistle affected her shot or not, it was saved well by Sophie Brett. Brett is going to have to do it all over again. Joyce this time goes high, and Brett goes higher. And still the momentum stays with the Polar Bears. Grace Harvey checking back into the game. 14-on-14 matchup. She's asking for the ball, but Delaney is guarding her well. Brett slowly pacing forwards. The Jumbo going player for player on the ride.
This is something we've seen them do very, very well, as you can see. Probably 20 plus seconds, haven't let one woman open. And when they do, stuff like this happens.
There's the pickoff. Here's Zorn, fakes one way, hits the post. And still just will not swing for the Jumbos this time. Delaney gets the ground ball. Ball finds its way to Lesperance. Launches it back towards Conahan. Again, the defense stifling from Bowdoin so far. And again, the whistle goes, and again, it goes for the Jumbos. Looks like Margie Carden will get a free position here.
Not the best angle for her, but we've seen her make the weirdest angle of shots.
And make it she does. It was a bit of a finicky one as she almost ran into Sophie Brett, but managed to sneak it around her, and the Jumbos reduced the deficit to 1 for all the Polar Bears' efforts.
Now, if you're the coach in this situation, excuse me, not Riley,
You've been
Micah.
too used to Riley Daniel on the mic next to you.
Yes, I have.
It's okay, he's still sitting to the right of us.
If you're Courtney Shue, what do you tell your team right now?
I mean, I think you gotta tell them that this is something that you're not expecting to see, but you know that you can come back from this. The only team that's beaten you in the last year has been Middlebury, who have been on an unprecedented, unbeaten run. You know that you have the quality to beat a team like Bowdoin, and it's still very early in the game. It's 5 minutes left in the first quarter. You're only down by 1. But I think the real question is how Bowdoin coach Liz Grote is going to keep Bowdoin in this game.
Yeah, that's a good question. We can see they don't have quite as many subs as Tufts does, which may or may not affect the way they play. They've been playing hard for the past 10 minutes. Can they keep that up?
Delaney keeping up her good streak of form in the midfield with the draw control. Finds Zorn, finds the top corner, and we're level again.
And just like that, how many seconds was that, Micah?
I mean, less than 10 for sure.
Less than 10.
As you say, they can score 3 in 30 seconds. That's 2 and 10 right there.
Yeah. As I've been told, all it takes is 7 seconds for a goal.
And that was efficiency personified for Madeline Delaney with the draw control, sprinting downfield, finding Zorn. Zorn in her form was never going to miss a chance like that.
No, Zorn's been looking really, really good with her shots these past few games, making many, many goals.
It takes a lot if you're on a team with one of the best programs in the country's all-time record goal scorer, and you're the star attacker.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty good, huh?
Reminder, Zorn is leading the team in goals, ahead of the all-time leading goal scorer for Tufts, Margie Carden. Bowdoin with another boost, though, getting the draw control with Molly Reed. To the X with Georgia Gallagher. Reed with it again. Finding Ryan. Harvey finds Burke. So much of good for the Polar Bears has come going up against Fernanda Poulet. Didn't like her odds with that angle and slows down. Ameda with another good fake, but Summers did well to recover. Keeps her outside. Harvey trying to round Gibbons. Gets the shot, and DeBuren gets the save. The Jumbos get the ground ball as another player goes down. I think 2 more.
There must be something on that field.
Jenna Gibbons is asking for a foul, I think. It was her who went down the last time as well. In the meantime, Nicola Donlin is not waiting. Here's Kate Mastrobono, and she's going to get a free position herself.
Yeah, I don't know what's down there. Maybe an invisible rope or something, but that's 3 Tufts Jumbos we've seen go down on the field and around the same spot.
There's like a Mario Kart banana peel or something.
Something.
Mastrobono wound that one up and launched it wide.
Near miss of one of her own players.
Conahan. Ball is knocked free. And away with it comes Motts. Motts doing well to outpace Conahan. She's going to clear. She's going to have to wait for offside, I think. Brett doing her best to beat the ride before the Jumbos can set it up. Smart decision. Ameda. Skip pass eventually finds Stick of Fabro. Burke driving in, and once more, we go to the hash.
Wow, I can't quite see what's going on. I think they're just a foot on the wrong side of the 8-meter as defenders, and Bowdoin's able to draw that call.
Burke looking for another goal. She's going to get another goal. 4 on the day already for Lauren Burke.
Wow. And we knew she was going to be an impactful player coming to this game, but I did not have her scoring 4 goals in the first quarter against Tufts.
She does have this in her locker. She managed to score 8 goals in a game earlier this season against Roger Williams. Only 6 players in program history have achieved that for the Bowdoins, but at this rate, she could break that, as Tufts is going to have to take a timeout. And if you're Bowdoin, this is a huge opportunity leading this team, because the way the results are going around the NESCAC, we could have Bowdoin making the playoffs. As you can see, this is the kind of thing that we were looking for ahead of the game. Bates coming into the day, the results depended on Bates, Williams, and Kahn. Bates have lost, so those opportunities are gone. Williams are down, as are Kahn College. Those two are playing some tough opposition in Wesleyan and Middlebury. They're both well down, and you would be surprised if either of those results went against the way we were expecting. So with that being said, those results holding, if Bowdoin can hold this victory, they would make the NESCAC tournament.
And that is huge for them as a program, and just in general. That's always a team's goal, to make the playoffs.
It is, especially when you're a team like Bowdoin. You haven't missed a NESCAC tournament since 2016. They do not want that year to be this year.
No, not at all. Not at all. But they've been playing well so far. What do you see that they can kind of keep up or improve on, or why they're beating such a great Tufts defense?
I mean, I think you just have to keep getting the ball to Lauren Burke, as she's doing as well as she's doing. She's on pace to score 16 goals in this game. Now, will she do that? Probably not, but I wouldn't put it past her to get at least a couple more.
Yeah,
Jumbos just don't seem to have the answers for her.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see a different attitude coming out of this huddle. They came out early. They're ready to start. To start on the draw. Courtney Shue clearly knew what she wanted to tell her team, told it to them, and said, "Go put that in action." And We'll see. We'll see if they do.
Bowdoin need the NESAC tournament if they want any chance of really getting into the NCAAs. They're sitting at 48th in the MPI rankings. That's well outside the gap to get into the tournament on an at-large bid. Their best real chance is to go through the best teams in D3 and win the NESAC tournament. That is a big ask, but they are doing the best job that they can for the moment.
They're doing a good job for it.
And I would have said the bad news initially, but arguably the good news is that if they were to win this game, the team they would face in the first round would be Tufts back here on Bello.
That would be an exciting game.
Margie Carden trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Doing a full loop around the goal before recycling it back to Hammond. Here's Claps trying to drive inside. Now back to Leslie. Master Bono. Carden. And Carden is going to do what Carden does.
Carden is going to do what Carden does. I didn't see an angle from here. There were 3 people in front of her and a goalie. But yet she found the back of the net, bringing it back to a tie with 2 minutes left. If I were Tufts, I would want to not be at a tie leaving this first quarter. I would want to be up. Or Bowdoin.
I mean, very much so, but as you say, 2 minutes left. You can score a goal in 7 seconds, so there's still plenty of opportunities for goals in this game.
This is true. Jenna Gibbons still not on the draw. They're going to keep Elsa shut. I wonder why, if they're just going to keep Gibbons on defense to save her energy, or what the reasoning is behind that.
Yeah, I wonder if the question is they're worried about Bowdoin getting the draw control. They want Gibbons to be back early and keep the Bowdoin attack at bay.
Yeah, that may be the case. It might be easier when the draw's not going your way.
Yeah, and if so, that really gives you an insight into the mind of Coach Shute, that that's how she feels about this draw control. And that is exactly why, as again, Bowdoin come away with it, but that is a cheap giveaway. Straight to Elsa Shut. Carden. Kate Min trying to hold her at bay. Now Claps. Tough second attacking unit, trying to prove that they can do it better than the first can. Claps met by Min. Hammond. There's Conahan driving inside, finds Carden. Now that's Lloyd looking inside, and there's just too many Bowdoin defenders to get that going cleanly, but still it falls to the Tufts player. Claps. Going through 2 defenders, and again off the post. Bowdoin does well to pick up the loose ball. They have 47 seconds if they want to get this lead before the half is out. That is not the right pass they're looking for. Still, they make do. Driving forward is Moss. As the clock goes down to 30. They're not going to hold for the last shot. They're going to go for it. And with 25 seconds left in the first quarter, Bowdoin are back in front.
Wow. That sort of defense, I have to give a shout out to the Bowdoin defense right now. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're somehow triple teaming every single ball that Tufts has. Whether it's that they're holding on to it for too long, or they're just having one man run around and guard everybody, which is crazy to me, frankly. But it's working, and it's beating the Tufts attack, and it's beating their press, and then they come down to the end of this field and play calm and play like they mean it.
Yeah, it's like Tufts have had a penalty for the whole game. They're playing almost as if they're a woman down, but Bowdoin are just defending that well, keeping this Tufts attack, one of the best attacks in the nation, at bay, and doing their work at the other end as well.
They're proving to be very aggressive and being able to get to the 50-50 ground balls that normally we see Tufts coming away with. Most of them off the draw have just barely missed a Tufts net.
They're looking for another draw control here. They're going to get it with Grace Harvey. 20 seconds if they want to add to this lead, but that pass isn't going to do the job. Min with a heroic effort to keep it in bounds.
Clock is running.
Now Tufts has the opportunity to level things. Clock counting down. Leshley launches it towards Mastrobono. And the call goes Bowdoin's way.
That is a crease violation, I believe they called it.
And so at the end of the first quarter, I don't think many people expected me to say this, but Bowdoin leads by a goal 6-5. We're going to take a quick break, but get back to you with the start of the second quarter. Well, I say that, the refs are requesting that they add 2 seconds back to the clock, and then the teams are still going to go into the huddle. So I'm not sure what the ultimate verdict was there.
It looks like they are not playing any more time in the first quarter, so.
Yeah, so we will be back with you in 2 minutes. Welcome back here to Bellow Field as the Bowdoin Polar Bears are taking a surprise 1-goal lead into the second quarter over the Tufts Jumbos. And news is getting better for them as they can hear that Wesleyan are doing their job in beating Conn College, and Middlebury doing their job in beating Williams. So things will remain in their hands, it looks like. If they can hold this lead, they're going to enter the tournament.
Yeah, and Tufts won't make that easy for them.
So the clock resets to 15. You get ready to reset here. Jenna Gibbons reset in the draw circle for the Jumbos. It was also Harvey for the Polar Bears, but Gibbons is victorious this time. Finds Carden. To Delaney. Mastrobono stayed in. Shut. Finds Carden. And again, there's that triple teaming you were talking about. Jumbos just cannot find the open space. That's going to do some good work from Mastrobono. This player goes down. That's Ali Zorn. That's a push.
Yeah.
And that will help the Jumbo cause. Chance for Ellie Zorn. She goes, and it goes off the stick of Sophie Brett.
Sophie Brett's been playing a really good game today. Even though she hasn't started many games, she has shown her potential here.
It's been a big step up from her as Hannah Rubin, the usual starter, isn't in today. She's got a big challenge here, though, as did well against Claps. Now Bowdoin trying to clear again, this time doing a better job, despite Master Bono's efforts. Harvey's looking a bit out of breath, but she did her best there. Gallagher finds Reed. Now into Burke. Burke finds Harvey. Now at the X. Here's Ameda now. Harvey looking inside. Ryan thought she got shoved, but Tufts not having any of it. Here's Fernanda Poulet trying to clear. Ball comes loose. And eventually it's going to be too much contact for the rest. They're going to call that on Bowdoin. Green card called on Molly Reed. She'll sit for a minute.
Yeah, we've seen Bowdoin be pretty aggressive here today, and getting away with a lot of things, but they will not get away with this one.
Ball on the stick of Elsa Shutt. And Tufts have another chance to level the game once again. Delaney finds Zorn. Back to Delaney. Now Master Bono trying to roll the crease. Was forced backwards out. Tufts switch the angle, finds Shutt. And once again, Bowdoin Polar Bears stand resolute. Master Bono this time, she makes no mistake.
Yeah, her height has showed a lot of potential and has worked really well against this team, and something that you can't really find the open player, but they're able to in K Master Bono with her height and being able to score against this goalie.
And once again, we are all level. That goal will release Molly Reed back into the game, so the Jumbos get the woman up goal. Back into the draw circle goes Sydney Leonard for Bowdoin as Grace Harvey's done her part. Jenna Gibbons remaining there for the Jumbos. .12:10 left in the second quarter. Draw is ready. And it looks to go towards Molly Reed. And about 6 players fighting for it now. And Maida trying to come away with it. In the end, she does. And in a good position for Bowdoin as well. Back to Burke, but Burke missed it. And that's well read by Caroline Cromwell. Jumbo's still trying to clear and still having issues. As Ameda finds the ground only. Now Shutt. Here's Claps to Carden. Out to Master Bono. Into Joyce. Claps trying to find the space. And gets through but loses the ball.
There's an aggressive hit to the head there. It looked like from here.
Now the whistle goes. And it will be another free position shot for Tufts. This time the ball will rest in the stick of, looks like Sophia Claps. Claps. Misses the frame. That one bounces off the ref. And the Tufts are the beneficiaries. Joyce finds Delaney. Finds Shutt. Tufts still trying to find the hole. And Carden found it, but she couldn't find the net.
That's not something you hear very often.
Certainly not a point-blank look there from Margie Carden, but the defense just put her off enough. Now they do well to get the ball back. Min trying to clear. Launches that one forward, looking for Fabro. Ran to the stick of Jenna Gibbons. She's feeling that one in the abdomen. Jenna Gibbons is running the other way fast. She gets that one in the head, though. That one is definitely going to be called.
Jenna Gibbons looking to go. She's got that look in her eyes. She's taking it the whole way.
Green card will be called on Ameda. Coach Shu wants a yellow card, but it will be green. So just a minute for Mia Ameda. Mara Muse will sub in for the woman down unit. Coach Shu screaming for an offsides. Referees do not give heed. The attack is still doing their best without. Shutt to Joyce. That one asked a lot of Mastrobono, but she reached up to get it. Now driving. But that one, I'm not sure what the idea was.
I think her stick got caught and she launched it a little bit high. But that's not a mistake we've normally seen by Tufts.
And that's another huge defense survived by the Bowdoin defense, especially woman down.
Yeah, we'll see if they end up holding it for the last 10 seconds of their man down.
Ameda is ready to come in. Ball on the stick of Reed as Ameda checks in. Ball pops free. As Reed goes to ground, whistle blows and it's going to be another free position. Much to the consternation of the Tufts defense, but still they have had that issue all night. That's another chance for Bowdoin to take the lead back. Will be Molly Reed all the way from the right hash mark. Likes to play it back. Finds Burke on the other side, and it's going to be another shooting space.
The zone defense is hard, Micah, and Bowdoin is finding the holes. And we'll see here, but they've been capitalizing on them in the past with shooting space.
Yeah, and crucially, Tufts hasn't been able to find the holes in Bowdoin's defense. Bowdoin are picking the lock. Burke again goes low. And it goes off the stick of DeBuren. Burke for once will be denied. Will she be denied this time? No, she won't.
Wow, Micah. Bowdoin is looking great out here tonight. I just have to say again, their defense is looking good. They've kept Tufts from scoring. They play in such a unique way that Tufts doesn't really know what to do with themselves. They're starting to change things on the draw. They're starting to change things in their attack, but nothing seems to be working. But what is working is on Bowdoin's attack. They're finding all the holes that they can. They're just cutting constantly, and that's leading them to get the goals.
You look at Lauren Burke's stat line. 5 goals on just 6 shots. All 6 of her shots have been shots on goal. Adding a ground ball to that just for good measure. It's been a stunning game from her in attack.
Yeah, she's played very well, and we expected to see her play well today, but I was not expecting 5 goals, as I've said earlier.
It's worth remembering, Bowdoin only got, I believe, 7 goals in all of this game last year, so they've already equaled that today. And Grace Harvey gets another draw control there as Jenna Gibbons was a bit too zealous with the stick to the head. It looks like the Bowdoin coaching staff is asking for a card of their own.
The refs pointed, I believe, that it might have been a Tufts ball. They're discussing right now.
It will be with Bowdoin in the end. So last year, Tufts ran out 17-7 winners. They're trailing 6-7 right now.
You can feel tension starting to get a little bit high from Tufts members.
I mean, this is just not a position they're used to being in unless you're playing the Panthers from Middlebury. This is just unheard of for this Tufts team this year.
Yeah, it's unheard of, and you can see the frustration. You can see people starting to yell at their teammates, which is not something you can do. If you want to be winning this game, you need to be able to work as a team against Bowdoin's defense.
Let alone their offenses. Here's Burke again. Now the X is Ameda. Back to the middle to Burke. And another great body feint. Finds her way inside, sets down the defender, and shoots it wide.
And she's called on a charge as she tries to barrel through 4 of the Tufts defenders.
That's about the first thing she's done wrong today. Fernando Poulet launches it down the field, and that's a dime of a pass into the stick of Skylar Lloyd.
Only Fernando Poulet could do that.
Call his quick ball movement, and I think Fernando Poulet epitomized that there. Ball finds way to Conahan. To Hammond. Conahan again. Once more, Bowdoin not giving an inch. Here at the X now. Now back to Conahan. And once more, shooting space is called.
Yeah, good for them there. They were swinging the ball. I did not see a lot of movement in the inside. Maybe they're just trying to figure out this Bowdoin defense.
Caroline Conahan has a chance to figure out Sophie Brett now. She'll save that for another day. Back to Lloyd, now inside. And once again, the ball goes loose and goes to Bowdoin. Margie Carden doing her best to win it back high, and she does so successfully, will she? She will. This is a huge chance here as attempted behind the back.
Wow, that was a great shot. They're going to call it a goal. There was some uncertainty around the refs. The ref was chatting with the player about a missed call, but you got to keep playing. The whistle wasn't blown.
Yeah, and I mean, that's about the first thing all day that Coach Grote can yell at her team about, because that, as you say, one thing you do always, play to the whistle.
Yeah, I believe there was a whistle, but it was Tufts ball, and they can start whenever they want.
In a game like this, you can't be complaining to the refs because, especially against Tufts, they will take advantage of that without hesitating.
Yeah, they will, and these refs have shown that they're going to call what they're going to call, and they'll be right.
That goal credited to Zorn. And you also just have to credit Margie Carden with some great work defensively.
Yeah, the redefend there was really strong, and that's what we've seen them show strongest. Like, they've worked really hard on that in practice. That's where they get a lot of their turnovers. So good work, Margie Carden.
Yeah, I mean, for all her attacking laurels, that shows, I think, another facet to her game.
Yeah.
You said it before, I'll say it again, but we're all square. 7-all. Jenny Gibbons still in the draw circle for Tufts. Bowdoin is Leonard, but it looks like Gibbons' fall started.
Jenna Gibbons not on her A game today. as we saw her the past weekend and throughout the season.
Something of a sharp return to average. She still has work to do here on defense. See her organizing as best she can against a Bowdoin offense that has really caused Tufts troubles. Molly Reed with it. Into Fabro. That ball was launched to where a player used to be. And that's an easy possession to see out for Tufts. They will take that any day. That was a one-woman ride there as it didn't really pay off for the Polar Bears.
No, they are backtracking quickly as Jenna Gibbons shows off her speed.
Still going as Gibbons. Now she finds Carden. Going up against Min. Finds Delaney. Zorn. To Joyce. To Shut. Carden at the X. Back to Shut. Shot inside. Whistle, did it go before the goal?
They will call it a goal, I believe. Again, playing through it.
I was about to say how Bowdoin have done such a good job of preventing Tufts from rolling the crease, but that time slotted inside.
Yeah, they were able to find that hole, and maybe this is the shift of momentum that they need. Now up by 1 against Bowdoin. Can they figure out Bowdoin's defense?
And again, it's Margie Carden they have to thank for it.
Who else? Who else?
I think Allie Zorn probably, but...
Allie Zorn, yes. Allie Zorn and Margie Carden. We've just seen both of them play so well on Bello. And Margie Carden, with over 200 goals in her career at Tufts, has just shown her leadership on this team.
Entering today, she was only 6 points away from 300 career points. That gives you an idea of the sheer insanity of scale we're dealing with from her output. I think she's within maybe 3 or 4 at this point. Draws live. Elsa Shutt comes away with it. Indeed, Carden only 2 away, actually. She has a hat trick already. Tufts doing well this time again, trying to extend their lead. They know if they wait on this one, Bowdoin could very well get back into that. They've proven that a couple times already. Driving inside, that time was Conahan, and she will draw herself shooting space again.
Sophie Brett has proved very good on these saves, but will this one fall?
It will fall. And Tufts have the lead back up to 2. They've already led by 2 once. They led 4-2, I believe, or actually they led 2-0. Bowdoin led 4-2, and it's been blow for blow since then. But Tufts desperate to extend their lead now for good.
Yeah, slowly crawling back. Jenna Gibbons will take the draw again. Again, that's something that the team has had consistency with, is her on the draw and winning the draw. Today started off a little bit rockier, and there's some uncertainty and moving around. But with Jenna Gibbons back on the draw, they've started to show some color and show some strength against Bowdoin.
With that, it will be a timeout called. So if you're Bowdoin in this situation, you've been doing so well to keep up with this team. How do you keep them in this game?
I think you need to revamp your defense. That's what kind of stopped Tufts in the first place. It will do it again. I will also say to keep it up on the attack. I didn't see a lot of things that Bowdoin was struggling with. I think one thing they should focus on doing more of, even though they're doing it great already, is the 50-50 balls, especially off the draw. We saw at the beginning of the game, Tufts had almost like tried to get the ground ball, and Bowdoin sweeped it up instead. If they can continue doing that, they'll continue having possession in their attacking half. and they can only score when they're in their attacking half.
So far, so good until about 2 minutes ago for Bowdoin. You look at the stats line. Tufts leading in shots 18-12, but only 7-6 in terms of shots on goal. Had one woman up goal. Ground balls count is dead even, 10-11 in favor of Tufts. I think the real difference is Tufts 8 for 8 on clears, Bowdoin only 6 for 11. Bowdoin also with 11 turnovers compared to Tufts 6, so the ball handling is still proving to be the difference between these two. So you mentioned Tufts, the best team in the country when it comes to clearing.
Yeah, Bowdoin might come in with a new sense of urgency after that timeout. We will see, but smiles on their faces. They continue to feel calm and collected. They're not worried about this game, even though there is a lot on the line.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to play sports is when you're having fun doing it.
This is their last game of the season if they don't win tonight.
It's true. There's some seniors on the squad as well. But looking at the likes of Anna Paulman, who's been very involved with Lauren Burke. Their talisman up top. Eleanor Applebaum, Georgia Gallagher, and Sophie Brett in goal. They are playing for everything tonight.
Yes, and they're playing very well. There's something to say about playing for fun or playing to win. Oftentimes they can be the same if you do them right.
Harvey back in the draw circle for Bowdoin. It makes no difference for Jenna Gibbons. Madeline Delaney gets the control. Ball finds Carden. Now Conahan. Shut. Into Joyce. Rounds her defender before she's rebuffed by another. Carden. Again, Bowdoin's defense on the GLE has been exquisite tonight. Joyce. Fakes her defender one way, now finds Conahan. Into Zorn, and she missed that one, shockingly.
It was like maybe a 2-degree angle she had to shoot that at.
She did, but I mean,
there was no one in front of her.
And when you've scored 44 goals already this season.
This is true. This is true. She may have another shot, though.
We do hold her to higher standards when she has output like she does. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Now Joyce driving in through two defenders and through the gaping goal of Sophie Brett.
That's normally been the strong spot of Bowdoin's defense here today, is that central area, because it's so congested and they can normally stop people. So I was shocked to see that one fall through, but good props to the Jumbos. They're up by 3 now, their biggest lead of the game today. 3 minutes left in the first quarter.
That's a sucker punch when you've been doing so well to repel those driving runs in from the Tufts attackers. And it has to tire you out because eventually Emma Joyce just drifts by 2 of them and has an open lane, buries it.
Yeah, and I wonder if it has something to do with the size difference of these teams and the depth of their benches. Tufts is notorious for having a lot of players ready to go, ready to play. And Bowdoin showed they can sub, but is it enough to keep up their pace of play?
Ball drifts into the sphere of Sophie Brett once more, but she controls it. Ride is strong from Tufts. They're not giving an inch. Brett gesturing to her midfielders to move further forward. Saw this tactic work once already very well for the Jumbos.
Yeah, once today, but many other times throughout the season. This is something they are good at.
It's just suffocating. It's pure chaos in midfield as they've already worked 40 seconds off the shot clock, but eventually they get to Sydney Leonard. And she has plenty of space to run into. Bowdoin showing their own prowess and clearing on that attempt. Ball finds its way back to Leonard. Now inside to Reed. Step turn. And to the corner. That one launched into Fabro. She had a good look, but it was a bit too much to ask to keep that one on frame. Bowdoin still have possession, but they only have 10 seconds on the shot clock. It's not a lot of time to work with. Can they do something with it? 3 seconds now. And this one is going to tick out. Jumbo's with a huge defensive stop there.
Yeah. All started with us 40 seconds gone down the drain with their press.
Now Jenna Gibbons can run. Now she can find Conahan, who can find Carden. Can't find anything else after that. Now Claps. Back to Conahan. Carden again. Rotation is good, but the penetration isn't there yet. Shut. Spins her defender. Still with it shut, but forced it backwards. Joyce. Into Zorn, and Zorn puts it away.
They've started to find the holes, Micah. They are moving that ball faster than I've really ever seen them move it. They are constantly playing hot potato, allowing these gaps to form, causing that one man running around in Bowdoin's defense to get tired.
I mean, how often have we seen Zorn know exactly the right moment to pop up right in front of the crease there, and all she has to do is catch, spin, shoot?
All the time. It's probably helpful. Helps her 40-plus goals on the season. Tufts has done this before, where they've kind of struggled the first half, but at the end of the second quarter, they bring it back. Over the weekend against Amherst, that was their 3 goals in 30 seconds. I wonder if they might do something similar with the last 30 seconds of this game.
31.0 on the clock right now as Zorn joins Carden in the hat trick club for the night. Still Gibbons in the draw circle. Believe, or they may have switched out. I can't quite see the number.
I believe it is still Gibbons.
She's crouching down. I'm used to seeing her standing taller. Gibbons fighting with it over fighting with Leonard over it, excuse me. She is the winner in the end. Now driving forward is Lashin. Clock ticking down. Carden finds Conahan. Finds the net.
That's their specialty, Micah. They love the last-minute goals. When the team is least expecting it.
I mean, what a sucker punch for the Polar Bears. So they entered this quarter up by 1, and they look set to exit down by 5. And that is a deep, deep hole against this Jumbo's team.
Pretty neat celebration over there. I don't know if you saw the bicycle by the Tufts sideline. They are feeling good. This is an exciting game that they need to work for.
Whatever it was that Coach Shute said in those timeouts and in that quarter break, it has been working a charm. Tufts were down 6-7 and on a 6-0 run now.
Yeah, I think it's just Tufts also has grit. That's something we've seen time and time again. They may go down on the scoreboard, but they will come back.
You really can never count them out. They only lost to the unmatched Middlebury by 1 goal. You really can never count them out of any kind of game. This one will tick out before they can get a shot away. But they'll be happy with a 5-goal lead at halftime after a shaky first quarter. Catherine, what are your thoughts on that first half?
It was exciting, to say the least. It was really exciting to see Bowdoin come out so fiery, yet so calm. Their defense looked spectacular, if you haven't heard it already from me. And their attack was able to finish on their shots. Tufts was able to battle it back through, again, their determination, their grit, starting with Margie Carden heading that drive, keeping possession, even though her defender I would argue, is almost face guarding her. Not quite, but not giving her an inch. And so her being able to play through that and show her team how to go through Bowdoin's defense has brought them to this five-point lead.
Indeed, we will see in about 10 minutes' time if Bowdoin can recapture their stellar form from the start of this game, or if it will be another Jumbo Stampede. Stay with us. Welcome back here to Bellafield in Medford, Massachusetts, as the Tufts women's lacrosse team leads Bowdoin Polar Bears 12-7 on the night as we enter this third quarter. Some big news from Brunswick, as currently the Bowdoin men's lacrosse team are leading the undefeated Jumbos 11-10. That game in the third quarter with about 7 minutes left.
Yeah, we've seen this a few times this year. When one team struggles, the other team also struggles, which I think is a funny correlation there. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe there's reasoning, but it's happened multiple times. It's fun to watch the teams cheer for each other when they don't have games. And here we are starting off strong.
Strong indeed with the yellow card from Molly Reed.
Yes, that was something that Courtney Shute was asking for at the beginning of the game when she got a green. There's a lot of contact to the head during this game, but Bowdoin is ready to play, as they show.
Nonetheless, that's not the start that Coach Grote would have been hoping for. In checks Mara Muse for the woman down defense. Here's Joyce. To shut. In turn finds that's Claps. Now Delaney. Soren on the outside. Passes Aaron. And Carden picks it up. Driving in now, that was Claps again. Or excuse me, that was Claps. Delaney. And to shut. Zoran again. The Bowdoin defense doing their best, even a woman down. But as soon as I say that, the ball finds its way to Margie Carden, and that is 300 career points for Margie Carden.
Good for her. She deserves that. That's impressive. That shows a lot to who she is, how she can play, and what a game to have happening.
I mean, these numbers just boggle the mind. Almost 240 career goals, over 60 career assists. It's just unstoppable. 4 goals, 2 assists for her on the day. Just as the Jumbos go up 13-7 here, the men in Brunswick go down 12-10. Jumbos walking the line in both of these games at various points. If you're interested in updates from around the NESCAC, games have gone final in the other women's games, so Conn College have been eliminated from playoff contention after their loss. Here's Claps driving in, finds Delaney. That's a rare errant pass from her. Carden again doing the hard work and picking it up. Zorn finds Claps. And that's a great interception there from Grace Harvey. She's looking to run, but is forced to turn back early. As we were saying earlier, the game for Williams has also gone final. They have lost, so they are currently sitting in the 8th seed, waiting to see the result from this game. Bowdoin doing their best to get back into it quickly. That is not the touch they needed. Still the ball is bouncing around and eventually come away with by Elsa Schutt. But another loose ball, another ball turned over. Here's Ameda. Ameda, the only polar bear to score in every game this season until tonight. She's still looking for her first goal of the night. Again, just to compare that to the Jumbos. The Jumbos have Ali Zorn, who scored multiple games in every game this season. Again, Bowdoin very much punching up here. Still down by 6. Their biggest deficit of the night. Shot clock nearly half expired as running through is Molly Reed. There's a charge called, or the charge is called from Courtney Shute, it sounds like.
I believe they are not going to call it a charge. They're going to give her a free position instead. Courtney Shute not too happy about that.
I think the bugle just played at the. You'd think that the bugle just played at a baseball game though, from the amount she's shouting charge. That one goes wide, so Courtney Shute in the end won't have to worry about that much. Still the Bowdoin with the ball. Reed finds Harvey. Head fake. Trying to get around Gibbons. Inside, looking for Ryan. Ryan goes down, and now she's going to get a free position from a better angle as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of congestion in front of the goal.
Tate Ryan up against DeBuren. Here's Ryan. The ball bounces again off the frame of the stick of DeBuren. She makes a double save, and the Jumbos survive once again.
I don't know how she saw that one.
And now here come the Jumbos in transition. Here's Lashin. Finds Claps. Back into the middle towards Joyce. That's going to be shooting space.
That's the kind of transition we're used to seeing from these Jumbos. Feels like they're starting to find their rhythm here.
Lightning quick from the Jumbos. The only way they can slow them down is to concede the free position, but they can't convert. Emma Joyce stung that one off the post. Here's Conahan. Joyce taking a second to control that one. Does so in the end. Shut over to Cardiff. Claps into Joyce, and she'll get another chance. Calls for Sophie Brett to do it again. She stopped her once. Stopped multiple Tufts players from the free position shot. Doing her best to do it again. But it won't be enough. Emma Joyce puts the Jumbos up 14-7, and they are really starting to pull away.
Yes, they are. The typical second half pull away that the Jumbos do. They find their rhythm, they figure out the team, and they adapt.
They do adapt, and adapt they have with style. 8 goals unanswered now, trailed 6-7, and suddenly they find themselves double Bowdoin's score.
Bowdoin doesn't seem too worried about it over here. Still smiles, still the same way we saw them coming into this game.
I mean, as we said earlier, with the other results going final in the NESCAC, Bowdoin would be guaranteed a spot as the 17th NESCAC tournament if they were to claw back this deficit, but that is looking less and less likely as the clock ticks down. Should they not win, incidentally, Tufts would be hosting Bowdoin's NESCAC rivals and main rivals, Bates. That's a good sign for them as Molly Reed wins the draw. Relatively unchallenged, she drives forward. And in comes a slew of substitutions. Here's one of them now, Leonard. Finds Fabro inside. Now back to Lauren Burke. It's been quiet so far this quarter. Leonard to Fabro. Now to the X and back up to the top with Leonard. Leonard is tripped. She goes to ground. No whistle. Still, the shot clock ticks down as we approach 40. Driving inside is Muse. Hounded, but again, the referee is very eager to call that free position for the shooting space. Mara Muse will have a chance from the hash. It's been a hugely impactful part of the game for the Polar Bears and for both teams in general, as Muse fires it in. DeBuren with no chance.
There's that answer you're looking for, Micah. Finally answered after about 10 minutes of play, 10, 15 minutes of play. Come back, and we've been talking about shifts of momentum the whole game, so this might be theirs.
And you look at their stats line, and for as much as we praise Lauren Burke, still 5 goals and an assist on the night. But if your attack is all funneled through her, and if the Jumbos have managed to figure her out, and it seems like they at least partially have, then you've only got 3 other goals so far from your other attackers. You need to find some other way to break down this Jumbo's defense.
Yes, and they will not make it easy for you.
Muse, Gallagher, and Fabro, the other scorers on the night for the Polar Bears. Jenny Gibbons looking for another draw control. She's going to get it. And she's going to go. Up against Motts. Reverses that one. Finds Lloyd. Excuse me, that's Conahan. Mastrobono back in the game. Here's L'Esperance. Hammond finds Mastrobono. Still taking their time. Here goes Carden. Driving up against stick of Applebaum. The violation was called of some sort.
You can't defend like that was the call.
Yeah.
Your stick cannot be horizontal on that girl's body.
Finds its way back to Mastrobono. She runs through, trying to roll the crease. She has the perfect angle, and that's the perfect shot.
She's been a sneaky one this year. We've seen her a few times, but she's really shown out today. Really just shown how she can play and shown how she can find the holes.
Yeah, I mean, she's really the one when the main attackers that the Jumbos look to are having a bit of an off night or maybe just an off quarter. They can always look to Kate Mastrobono, and she will almost without fail turn up and fill in any gaps in the Jumbos offense. I mean, she just provides such a different threat for the defense to deal with as well, especially compared to Margie Carden. It's a height difference of a full foot between those two.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Back to the draw circle we go. Gibbons against Leonard. That one finds its way towards the restraining line. Eventually, going to call an offside, I think, as someone stepped over. And the Jumbos are the beneficiaries. Here comes Gibbons. Now to Carden. Give and go back to Carden, now to Shutt. Into Joyce. Mastrobono. The fake. Shutt to Carden. Bowdoin doing their best to defend. But once more, the call will be shooting space. This time Emma Joyce, it looks like, scored the last one she had. Already has 2 goals and an assist on the night, looking to make it a hat trick. And she does. And that's really rubbing salt in the wound, as this one is getting well away from the Bowdoin Polar Bears.
That's a third player with a hat trick tonight, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, her, Zorn, and Carden is on 4 herself. And again, you compare that to Bowdoin's stats, much less spread around. When someone isn't working for the Jumbos, they can always find that extra one, but as you've mentioned, the depth just isn't really comparable between these two teams.
No, it is not comparable at all. And not only in size, but just in talent. There are so many players on Jumbos that have the individual talent and are the ability to work as a team. That Bowdoin hasn't shown a lot of today.
Suddenly a game that was looking like it could be a historic one for the program for Bowdoin is looking like it's getting out of hand fast, as the Jumbos already have 16 on the board with 8 left in the third. Grace Harvey back in the draw circle for Bowdoin. She was taking that one illegally. Jumbo's looking to go fast. Pouring on the pressure. Here's L'Esperance. Zorn took her eye off the ball. Gets bodied off of it. Now Bowdoin looking to go fast the other way. Here's Reed. Jumbo's trying to slow her down, but no good. Reed successfully completes the clear. Now looking for Ryan. Into Burke. Guarded by Fernanda Poulet. Back out to Harvey. Burke. Surveying her options to Reed. Trying to switch up Delaney. Into Burke now. Fernanda Poulet standing her ground. Muse. Back to Burke. Polar Bears keeping it outside the arc for the moment. Now they go in. Molly Reed going with a low shot, and that one had DeBuren guessing. Still they maintain possession. Burke once more. Muse. Guarded by Shutt. Now to the X. With the Maida. Reed. Driving against Delaney, trying to spin one way, then the other. And once more, they're going to call that with 6 seconds left on the shot clock. That's a bailout for Bowdoin.
Yes, you got to be careful with that. As soon as you extend your arms, these refs will call a push.
Still, though, no free position is forthcoming. Ball on the stick of Molly Reed. On the 12-meter arc this time. Slows down, and that one goes wide of DeBuren's right post. Shot clock expires, and the Jumbos survive another one. And that's another missed opportunity for the Polar Bears. Jumbo's looking to clear easily. Here's Cromwell. Into Claps. To Mastrobono. Now to L'Esperance. Hammond finds Carden. Again, this ball movement silky smooth from the Jumbos at this point. Zorn. And again, it's going to be shooting space. We'll see if the Jumbos try and compound the Polar Bears' woes at this point from a tight angle. Ball with Ali Zorn. She slows it down. Instead finds Hammond. Hammond trying to fire that one in, but it goes wide. Jumbo's still keeping the pressure on. Ball bouncing around within the middle. Still chaos is about 6 players battling for it, and eventually whistle goes again. This time it's going to be for Bowdoin. Clock ticks under 5 in the quarter. Motts out sprinting Mastrobono. Battle with the Cates there. And past L'Esperance as well. Now here's Burke. Slowing things down, then speeding him up again. Reed. Spurring up Lloyd. Going past her. Taking the shot. Tufts is going to win the race with that one as it goes wide. And once again, Bowdoin squander an offensive possession. Tufts defense has really started to figure them out.
Yes, they are, and the hustle just by each player to figure out their own defense and to stop Bowdoin's attack.
Clock stops. The referees will confer over something that happened during the clear. For those of you,
I believe it was a whistle that may have been a mistake. There are a lot of lines on this field, and Coach Shoot saying that this should be the Tufts ball.
For anyone still curious about the men's game, Polar Bears are faring better over there in Brunswick, 14-12 up in the fourth. Just 8 minutes left for the Jumbos to keep their unbeaten season alive. They've come back from crazy games, crazy deficits before as well.
I believe they called a whistle on the wrong out of bounds line. They are discussing whose ball that it should be.
And they eventually decide it's going to be Bowdoin, so
I believe that has to do with the possession arrow, which is not what the Tufts Jumbos needed right now.
it's everything the Bowdoin Polar Bears needed as they sprint forward with Lauren Burke. Going up against Lashin. Now finds Muse, trying to get past Gibbons. Gets the shot on, and DeBuren was fooled by the bounce.
That's a really good shot. She didn't really have her hands free. It wasn't really a good shot, but some of those shots are the ones that the goalies don't see coming because they're so hard for a player themselves to make.
Smart goal from Mara Muse for her second of the game as Ava Allender checks into the game for, I believe, the first time for Tufts. Or I say that, she's going to run straight back out.
Yes, well, we had a goalie change for Tufts. DeBuren is now out, and Devin Chipman is now in. That is the freshman from Delaware.
And again, the Jumbos with this one looking to be in the bag, and again, their seeding already in the bag. Just trying to get some more players some experience, especially Devin Chipman as DeBuren a senior, Chipman just a first year. As there's a lot of contact in that draw. It's going to be called back, even though the Jumbos wanted to run with it with Skylar Lloyd. We'll stay with Tufts, though.
Yes, it will. There were some early entries and lots of pushing.
I mean, that's the thing, is even though Tufts up by 7, still good for Devin Chipman, as this, as we've seen, it is a competitive game, so she'll have some very tough opponents coming up against her.
Absolutely. Bowdoin will not let down. These refs still discussing something.
Tufts men's team have drawn it back within one, 13-14 with 6.5 minutes left to go in Brunswick. Jenna Gibbons evades the guarding of Lauren Burke. The Jumbos look to settle in. Mastrobono finds Leslie. Hammond into L'Esperance. Mastrobono found Carden. Carden to Zorn. To L'Esperance. Defense from Bowdoin still doing their best, but that finds Zorn. Forced her outside, and again, all they can do is concede the shooting space. And at the start of the game, it was really the Jumbos' issues conceding the shooting space, but now the Polar Bears very much struggling with their own medicine.
Yes, they are. Bowdoin not happy with the location of the player shooting.
Still goes wide as Zorn frustrated with that one. She wanted the player to get there in time and keep the possession, but still Bowdoin have a lot to do on this clear. That's a good start, though, finding Motts. Motts sprinting, full steam ahead, trying to get past Zorn, does so successfully. Now here's Muse, most recent goal scorer, finding Ameda. Guarded by Summers, finds Reed. Here is Burke. Burke goes past her defender, but then runs straight into Jenna Gibbons. Muse trying to use her size and sneak that one past Chipman, but that one goes off the side netting. Jumbos have tied things up in Brunswick. Meanwhile, here the transition is going fast. Here's Hammond. Finds Claps. Ball knocked free. But again, just calmly taking the sting out of everything is Netta Leshley. Carden finds Conahan. Lesperance now to Lloyd. Again, ball movement so fast at this point. And that's what they were missing early on. Certainly not missing it now as Lesperance tries to slip that one by Brett. No luck. Still the Jumbos keep pouring on the pressure. That one inside again to Lesperance, but she couldn't get it cleanly in her stick. As they stick errantly hit Conahan, it looked like in the mouth. Didn't look like any malice there. But still, that will be a yellow card. That one called against Anna Paulman. That one will last the rest of this quarter, only 54 seconds left. As we will restart with Caroline Conahan. Jumbos with a fresh 90, so they can hold for last shot if they so desire. Spirit from the bench of the Bears to our right, still high, but the Jumbos have run over them at the end of that second quarter and at the start of this third. Here's Delaney in no rush. This is always most high octane of lacrosse as they hold for the last shot. Now they start moving. So here's Lesperance. Now Joyce. 15 seconds left. Joyce still held at a distance, 10 seconds now. Claps, and she might not even take this one. The Jumbos are happy to see out the quarter with their 7-goal lead. We will take a break ahead of this last quarter, and we'll be back with that action. Stay with us. Welcome back here to Bellafield. 16-9 Tufts Jumbos lead here. Up in Brunswick, still 14 all. The Jumbos have pulled level up there with less than a minute to go. A lot riding on that one. Less so here as Bowdoin have really just met their match in that second and third quarters.
Yeah, Tufts has, I don't know if I want to say pulled it together or what, but their attitude has shifted. They're feeling more confident, and they're showing they can play the game that we know they can.
Bowdoin starting this quarter still a woman down, a minute and 6 seconds left on that penalty, so the Jumbos will start with the ball at their attacking end. Shot clock also rolling over from that third quarter, so less than 30 already. Here's L'Esperance. Back to L'Esperance at the X. Into Shut. Shut bounced that one off the thigh of Sophie Brett. And Brett gathers it quickly. Brett seemingly in less hurry to get this one out of her own crease. Eventually she steps out.
This is something we haven't seen before. Normally, there's no one marking the goalie, which means there is a player open for Bowdoin down the field if Sophie Brett can catch a break to look up and find it.
The problem, of course, being that Bowdoin still a woman down for the next 10 seconds.
Right. I forgot.
Still, though, they managed to break that ride, as here comes Kate Min. Eventually, they cross the restraining line with Applebaum. Burke. Now to Reed. Again, taking their time. Waiting for their subs to come in as here's Birmingham. Ball doesn't go to her, instead it goes to Harvey. Now to Ryan. Delaney guarding her closely. She's about the only polar bear on that side of the field. Now Reed has the matchup. Trying to spin, but the Jumbos defenders are swarming, and that's a great save from Chipman down low.
The bench goes crazy for that one. It's so fun to see the freshmen making saves like that as a first year.
Sign that Jumbo's goaltending department is in good hands for the years to come. As the other way comes Shut. Now L'Esperance. Into Zorn. Now to Carden. Joyce. To Delaney. And Delaney is going to draw the shooting space this time.
Yeah, you made the point earlier, Micah, that shooting space and free positions have really been the name of the game here. They've caused a lot of goals on either end, as it goes just wide on this one.
Still the Jumbos looking to recycle. Here's Delaney again. That one finds Carden. Now it's L'Esperance at the X. Inside to Delaney. And again, just runs into a wall of black. Shot clock ticks towards 25. Carden. Forced out wide again. Now back up top towards Joyce. Joyce goes through one defender, but again, runs into two. Shut has the opportunity now, and that's a good deflection. But that was lucky, as Brett didn't seem to know where it was. Shot clock ticking down. Now inside to Carden. And that's a great point-blank save there from Sophie Brett. Of all people, you expect Margie Carden to finish that one, but Brett denied her. And now sprinting the other way, still with all the purpose in the world, is Eleanor Applebaum. It's a loose pass, though, and Hammond is going to come away with it for the Jumbos. Gets past Leonard. Finds Carden. Ball in the middle and ball in the goal. That one's going from Ali Zorn.
Just keep adding them to her tally. Puts her at 4 on the day, I believe.
Her and Margie Carden. As those two just monster-headed attack from the Jumbos keeps going.
Yes, they do.
The question at this point is if the Jumbos can take this one into running clock before the game is out. Only 2 more goals required and next 11 give or take minutes.
It also probably depends on if they want to keep their starting lineup in or not. Bowdoin has shown that they will push through. I wonder if they're going to play the second line in or keep their starters in the whole game.
Keeping it in for now. Leonard has taken most of the draws for Bowdoin. Her against Gibbons. Once again, Gibbons with great hand-eye coordination to catch that one in midair. It took a couple tries to get it fully, though, and now she's running it with full steam. Gibbons still with it now. Trying to find a teammate. Into Zorn, to Carden. To Lloyd. Conahan now. Min just letting her know that she's there. Now Leslie. And streaking in there is Skylar Lloyd. Or excuse me, that's Conahan. And with a full head of steam, she's going to put one away again.
There was no stopping that train.
18-9 is now the lead for the Jumbos.
One more point to that running clock you were talking about.
Meanwhile, the men's game has gone to overtime, still level with 3 minutes left. Those two teams inseparable so far. So still 1 goal away from running clock. As Bowdoin put up the best fight they could in that first quarter, but it has just been one-way traffic since then.
Yes, but they've proved themselves here on the field, and with a lot of young players next year, holds great potential for this team.
Gibbons loses her footing, but still manages to have the step. And it's another draw control for Jenna Gibbons. She's still going, and eventually is forced to slow down. Dumps it off to Margie Carden. Here's Zorn. Into Hammond. Conahan. Back to Leslie. To Zorn. Lloyd. Fires that one across field to Conahan. Now inside, and now another goal. Margie Carden with her 5th of the day.
She found that open space. You've seen that attack kind of cut down on the Bowdoin defense, and they found the open space. The center has previously been a very crowded and trafficked area, but Margie Carden able to make that space and use her teammates to find her 5th goal of the day.
And we are now officially in running clock territory.
Bowdoin calls a timeout.
Anything they can do to stop that clock. But you really have to think this is beyond their reach at this point.
Yes, but they won't go down without a fight if we've seen anything today.
Certainly not. And again, that is nothing to be ashamed of if you're down running clock to the Jumbos. Every team that the Jumbos have played, except for Williams and Middlebury, I believe, have gone down by a margin of 11 plus.
That just shows you tough strength as a team, and I'd like to just quickly talk about the NESCAC. We've seen how good they can be on this field, but in comparison, Bowdoin has been 2-7 in the conference. Yet overall, the record was 6-8, meaning they only lost one out of conference game. The NASCAC is such a strong league to be playing in, and with so much potential and so much like prospect. It's impressive to be able to watch these teams of these scales against each other on a field like this.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, 2-7 in conference, looking like it's going to be 2-8, and it's just so difficult against the competition that you have. You have, if you trust in the Massey ranking system, one of the ranking systems for college athletics, the top 4 teams in the country in D3 women's lacrosse are all in the NESCAC. I mean, that's just almost impossible to put up with.
Yeah, such a powerhouse in D3 lacrosse. And even though they may not make the playoffs this year, there's so much to be said about this team and the teams that they face this year.
Back in the draw circle is Harvey. It's Fernanda Poulet now playing midfield, stepping up on the draw. Molly Reed wins the foul on her own account. Molly Reed encouraged to go by Coach Grote. Reminded that the clock is still running. Running the length of the baseline is Birmingham. Now to Harvey. Leslie giving her something to think about. Now to Muse. To the X. Birmingham has to come all the way out again. Now back again against Donlin. Bouncing ball finds its way to Ryan. Into Lauren Burke, who's not going down without a fight. Goes through one defender, goes through another, and another goal on the night. 6 for her.
She has played really well tonight. We've seen a little bit of a lull in her goals scored throughout the middle of this game, but she is coming back strong as she does and scoring to stop the running clock and give their Bowdoin Polar Bears a chance.
She still has a chance to break her own record of 8 goals in the game.
You said she's at 6 right now?
6 right now.
2 more in 7 minutes feels doable for her.
If her fourth quarter is anything like her first, that's all she needs. Gibbons and Harvey squaring up again in the draw circle. Up it goes. Harvey with the win. Bowdoin not done just yet. Harvey goes past Fernanda Poulet, still going, and eventually Fernanda Poulet forces the turnover. Now Tufts looking to transition fast. Still going here, that's Donlin. And she goes all the way, does Donlin. Before laying it back eventually into Mollahan. Tufts starting to clear out the bench a bit more, as this game is looking more and more done and dusted. Claps to Leslie. Annie Bergeron also now in the game. Claps. Tosses that one off to Mastrobono. Now back to Leslie. Bowdoin still defending as best they can. To Mollahan. Leslie has a chance here now, goes through 2 defenders, and does just what Lauren Burke did at the other end, bringing us back into running clock.
Good work there by the Jumbos, finding the open space. That was the same hole that we saw Margie Carden take earlier. I guess the previous goal.
Up in Brunswick, still locked 14-14. Are Bowdoin and Tufts in overtime period 2 now, with about 4 minutes left. That will be golden goal, of course.
And Bowdoin calls a timeout here again to try and stop the clock how they can.
Yeah, they are not giving up on this one. Still, they know that if they can keep up with Tufts in one quarter, they can do it again.
And I expect nothing less from them.
Problem is, keeping up is going to be short of the mark at this point, down by 10. They need to drastically overhaul this deficit. And that is a lot to ask at this point in the game.
Yes, it is, and I don't think Tufts will let it up easy. They've shown that they will play their hardest to the end, and they're keeping a lot of their starters in, and people like Kate Mastrobono, who have played such a good game today, still in, still playing hard, still fighting hard. But Bowdoin will fight back. It'll be a game till the end.
6:10 still on the clock in this fourth quarter. And the news from Brunswick is good for the Jumbo fans, as a late goal in overtime from Garrett Kelly keeps the Jumbo's undefeated season alive. They win 15-14 over the Bowdoin Polar Bears to go 15-0 and complete an undefeated conference and indeed undefeated full regular season.
That kept me a little bit nervous there, Micah, watching the score go up and down, up and down.
Garrett Kelly, you got the overtime winner against Wesleyan as well. He's really making a name for himself in that phase of play.
Yeah, good under pressure.
So the men have done their job up in Maine. Women are looking to have done their job down here in Mass. Gibbons against Harvey still in the circle. That one is picked up swiftly by Annie Bergeron. And she's still going for laying it out wide to Mollahan. Picked up by Coase. Conahan. Mastrobono. Leshley to Claps. Coase back to the top towards Leshley. Mastrobono slipping that one inside towards Mollahan. And just the depth on this team. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Beautiful play from the substitute.
You could see that shot by any of the top players on this team. And there it is by someone who doesn't have a lot of playing time, showing that this team has nothing to worry about.
It's a goal from Anna Mollahan, the first year from Orinda, California, making her impact across the country. The subs are coming thick and fast now. Out of the game come LaShin and Donlin, the Jumbos. In comes Kate Anderson. And I believe that's Annie Spazey as well. Still no subs in the circle. It's Jenna Gibbons maintaining her position there up against Sydney Leonard this time. And another fantastic win there from Bergeron. It goes to Charest. Into a lender. That one launches it over towards Yale. Tufts has well and truly emptied the bench at this point. Here's Esme Coase. Slings that one across the field to a lender. Now inside, looking for Bergeron, and Bergeron gets on the score sheet as well.
They are just adding names to the list.
From a game that looked like it was dangerous for the Jumbos at the start, the Jumbos are approaching their record for goals in a conference game. They're just one short of it right now, and with 3.5 minutes left to go, albeit the clock very much running at this point.
I bet they can do it. We've seen crazier.
I mean, if Annie Bergeron keeps winning draws like that.
We've got someone new on the draw. It's Ava Olander. who we've seen helping out with stick pass-offs and helping out Jenna Gibbons with a draw. See how she does for herself here.
I bet the one thing in her mind is get that one towards Bergeron. No good this time, but Mollahan does just as well on the other side. Now this one to Monteleone. To Allender. Bergeron trying to control it. Playing a bit of field hockey here. Now it eventually finds the stick of Magdalena Reaper. Shrest passes errant. That will go down as a shot, and the Jumbos will keep it. Whistles go. Say, ask for the clock to be stopped. Referees conferring there as they say that was tipped, so will remain with the Jumbos. There's your explanation. Clock is restarted. The shot clock is not. And now it suddenly jumps down to 55 seconds, because why not? That's a bit too physical defense there from Fabro. Still the Jumbos keep coming. This one sent inside, but no good on that pass. Scooped up by Kate Min. The ride is hard from the Jumbos. But Bowdoin break the first line and look to see out the last 90 seconds of this game. There's a slash there coming in late from Esme Coase. She'll see the sin bin. At this point, not much difference to me for either team. So the Jumbos will be woman down for the rest of this match. Coach Shute getting a warning from the referee there. From her words, I believe, she said, "I have said very little to you all game." I'll let you at home be the judge of that.
Yes, it's coach's job to stick up for their players.
Especially at this point in the game, up 12 goals. Not much on the line. Not much to do at this point. For Bowdoin, still have a point to prove. Here's Reed. Now Burke, looking for a 7th of the day. And she's going to draw shooting space. That's a huge chance for her. Some confusion on the Jumbo's end of what the call was in the end. But it will go the way of Burke.
They will take the free position for Burke.
Not much time left as the clock's still ticking down. Half a minute left as Burke buries yet another goal.
That's her 7th of the day.
And if nothing else for the Bowdoin Polar Bears, this has been an incredible performance from Lauren Burke. As we say, she scored 8 earlier in the season, but difference against... Yeah. It's that one. She scored 8 goals against Roger Williams, but scoring 7 against the number 2 team in the nation, that's still certainly something you tell to all of your friends back up in Brunswick. Nonetheless, the clock ticks down as we end this game 22-11. The Jumbos double the Polar Bears scores. They stick in their spot with second place. They will face Bates next weekend. Catherine, your final thoughts on today?
What an exciting game. Bowdoin has shown that they are not someone to ever count out. They will catch you off your guard. They will play their game. And they will make you work for a win, and Tufts showed that they can and they are willing to work for it.
They sure are. We'll be back in a couple minutes with the post-game interview. Don't go anywhere. Thank you all for staying with us. Unfortunately, team meetings have been taking a bit longer than we were expecting, so we will not be able to bring you that post-game interview, but I would just like to thank you all again so much for tuning in to this live JumboCast broadcast. I'd also like to thank my crew, Catherine Burns alongside me on the call, Zachary Miller directing, Sebastian Gold up in the Crow's Nest, and Riley Daniel providing moral support. And I would like to thank you all again for tuning in to JumboCast this regular season. We will be back hopefully with some playoff games coming up soon. And as always, stay home safely.